Awesome. All right. My name is Dr. Sharnael Wolverton-Sehon, and we have Dr. Ariel here with us today. Super excited to have her on, and we're going to talk a lot about biofeedback, this whole new technology to be able to help people remote even. You don't even have to be live in real person. There's a lot of technology that's out there, and biofeedback is on just a huge thing right now. People are just now starting to jump in. I found out through Dr. Ariel, she's been doing this for quite a while. I've done other forms of biofeedback in person, and I've done uni-feedback, meaning like things like Itovi or Zyto, where you can do a galvanic response with your skin, and it can tell you what indicators are out of balance. But it doesn't give you the bio, meaning feedback, meaning not only detecting what's out of balance, but giving you back frequencies that will balance back at the same time. You're getting both. You're not just getting, hey, this is what's wrong with you, but you're getting the protocol frequency-wise, because we're all frequency. And everything goes on energy and frequency, and why not be able to just walk around with your iPad or what have you and be able to shoot in whatever is necessary. So tell us a little bit about you, Dr. Ariel, and how you even got started with this amazing technology, and let's share a little bit about what we can do to get people straight.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm a naturopathic doctor by training. I graduated from the National College of Naturopathic Medicine in Portland, Oregon as a clinician, and really was interested in, I got into this to help people to heal themselves. And I wasn't always satisfied with, let's just give people a bunch of supplements. And I was always looking for deeper ways that I could help people to be really empowered to heal themselves. And for a while I gave lots of detox programs and help people to get on a better diet. But in naturopathic medicine, we're always asking people all about themselves, and there's a lot that we miss in our history. And you may know that it's thousands of dollars to lab test people. And one of my mentors told me about the other bioenergetic, the galvanic testing and so forth. I looked into that. I looked into different big box systems, and I came across the Genius around 2012 and just thought it was finally that consciousness, we've caught up to consciousness. Like the world has finally caught up to being able to talk about the truth, you know, true technologies. And I just absolutely loved it. I tested myself all day long. I tested all my patients, and it was very, very accurate the way that it tested, and it helped people when we ran the frequencies. So I was just absolutely hooked. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to share my knowledge of naturopathic medicine as it could be expressed through the Genius, through the libraries, and then show people how to use it. And we've just had one miraculous experience after the next of people being able to use these remote sessions. We know now from one of our practitioners that did her dissertation. She did her dissertation at the Quantum University, and she did these remote sessions. And in the remote sessions, she found that after 7 weekly sessions, that people improved their energy by 39% and improved their quality of sleep by 51%. So we know that because of quantum entanglement, that space and time don't really exist, that we can send these frequencies from anywhere to anywhere. And so I pretty much work from this every single day, sending people frequencies all over the world. And I can tell them amazing things about themselves that they are just blown away by, and I can help them to change. And we can even send frequencies to them on their phone with a specific app that we have just for our clients, and they can receive the personalized frequencies that we choose for them. So it's an amazing technology. It's so much fun. There's nothing more fun than being able to test yourself and learn about yourself. And so I absolutely love helping people get their systems, the biofeedback system, every single day.
Yes, and now I'm scanning someone right now, to be honest, and I'm usually scanning people all the time. I have several of these all over my house and where I work, and we just keep people in a constant rotation of, because I have several licenses at this point to be able to handle the amount of people that have contacted me on a regular basis just to get a scan. So what I like about this is for those who are not familiar with the frequency process, our body is about 67 megahertz on a healthy adult day. And when we drop down to anything lower than that, we're opening ourselves up to be susceptible to energetic things in the biofield as well as all the way down to the cellular level. So I know that people are like so nervous about all the things, and it's like, oh, I don't want to catch that, I don't want to catch that. Like, it's not so much about what you can get from other people as much as it is you bringing your frequency down so low that you have now allowed it to come in. And so like if you even go down to like 45 megahertz, you're talking about some serious issues. And what's interesting is even people who are, quote, dead, they've tested, and up to 3 days still have a frequency, it's still dropping, but you start hitting death at 25 megahertz. And so there are things that we can do naturally that are going to build up the frequency and or sustain it at that healthy level. And then there's other things that can bring us way above and beyond it. But you have to understand, we live in a world where it's like give and take. And so just as you're supporting yourself, there are other things that could be right on the tail end, including diet, you're hanging out with colors, TV, music, dead food, eating things out of a can or, drive through. All of those things have not only no frequency, but in some cases can actually lower frequency. Coffee is another one. And although I'm drinking my coffee right now, they've proven that you can drink coffee or even walk in St. Arbuckle and you're going to drop 20% frequency. So I'm constantly, I know. So I'm constantly using all the things, that will keep my build up so I can keep my habit. One day maybe I'll kick the habit completely. But what I love about working with frequencies is this is something that's portable, and even better that it's remote. So I just did someone in New Zealand and Australia last night. Sometimes the time change is the only issue, but get your information and your voice. We can measure your voice, we can measure your biofield, get some more information, just some basics. And we can scan you all the way across the world and find out what's going on with you. And then I go over the reports with you one by one. Some of the reports include things like parasites, fungus, even spinal issues, today's stress, organs, EEGs, sleep patterns. Of course, all the organs. We can go into anything that's going on with all of the body anatomy. We can go into essential oils. There's 12 major reports that I personally do. I know that there's other reports that you can do and I have access to, but it can get where there's so many specific, it can be overwhelming if you get 100 reports. So I try to stick to the basic 12, and that's, believe me, enough. I look over, I customize. After getting the report, the technology sends and customize person to bring that balance back. And then what I like to do, and I think you do too, Dr. Ariel, is to give some homework based on the reports, because there's some things that we can do as individuals on a choice by choice, will by will, point by point situation where we're not going to slide back into lowering the frequency, because then you're kind of like getting the frequency, but also, get that give or take thing happens again. And so there can be some changes that need to happen and to modify that, some behavior changes, and also drinking lots of water and getting in nature, because there's so much code in nature. That's what natural path. There's code in the sun, there's code in grounding, there's so much healing and how to be grounded in the presence of the earth, which is 7.83. That brings a baseline to help us keep the frequency. But also just, it's kind of like, and I think I talked to you about this before, it's kind of like if you have a tuning fork and you hit the tuning fork maybe go into E or whatever, and we can send that tuning fork frequency to you to help it amplify. And it's going to go a while, but eventually it's going to get tired. And so if there's homework involved on your end, and we're working on this end and you're working on your end, we can send, and what that does is send you like multiple tuning forks in the same realm to help amplify each other, to keep the frequency, to raise the frequency if required. And eventually, we don't want you to have to be dependent on getting a scan every day. Although if you're a giver and you're in service like this, then it might be a good idea, right? Especially right now. But the goal would be that your body remembers the new frequency and keeps that standard and holds that standard on its own. And that takes practice. It takes a few scans. It takes some modifications maybe on your end. But in the end, isn't it great? I mean, you're seeing lots of people get help. I know I'm seeing lots of people get help. Can you give us just a few testimonies?
Well, like I said, we're doing more studies, and in the studies that we're doing, we're seeing definite improvement. We did the study with Quantum University where people had that massive improvement in energy just after 7 remote sessions. And the biggest thing people tell us is that their sleep improves. And so that we had that 51% improvement in sleep after just 7 sessions, which is amazing. We also had a gentleman who needed a procedure on his heart, and he had 25 sessions in a row, just like you're talking about, and he did modify some of his lifestyle issues, and it was actually a valve issue that he had. And when he went to have the procedure, they did some imaging on him, and they looked at each other. The doctors all looked around, they looked at him, and they're like, I don't know what you're doing, but just keep doing it because you no longer need this procedure. And he couldn't believe it.
Wow.
So, frequency is very powerful. Now, the unique frequency of the genius works at a level of the deep subconscious. When you get the frequencies, it will empower you to make the lifestyle changes that Sharnael is talking about, that you're talking about. So it works in conjunction with a person's own innate intelligence. This is very different from just a rife frequency. These are very special encoded frequencies from the genius. They're unique. No one else has this type of coding of frequency that works at the very deep level, at the level of the unstruck sound. And so when you're receiving the frequencies, there's a lot happening both on mind, body, spirit, things that sometimes you aren't even able to verbalize, but you will feel more empowered. We had one of our practitioners was sending it to a heroin addict, one of her family members, and she didn't know if it was going to make a difference, sent all the addiction frequencies. And what happened was he just on his own ended up getting onto methadone, was able to make that change. So the subtle frequencies have a very powerful effect. So it really is about repetition. You talked about the momentum. So we know 7 sessions is about the sweet spot when your body kind of learns the song and is really able to assimilate it. And any wonderful lifestyle changes like the Sharnael that you recommend will help people to hold that frequency and finally really get that permanent change.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. I could tell you when you're talking about the sleep, I think one of the biggest things that I hear when people come to me for support is not enough sleep and not enough energy. And the two work together so much. As you know, if you're not getting enough sleep or especially in that 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. pocket, that's your G-frag type time when we're getting rid of any extra stimuli that can be adding to the body throughout the day. That is just like, we don't need this. If it's not defrag, then it goes through the limbic system and it's stored in the body. And so sleeping during that time specifically is great, and sleeping at a certain level, delta would be the best, or any of those deep sleeps to get into that defrag. But then also if we're sleeping from 10 to 12, if we're in bed by 10 p.m. and can sleep a minimum till 12, that's the highest level HGH time. So when your body is sleeping during that time, it's almost as if you had 4 hours of sleep instead of 2 hours of sleep if you can get that pocket. Problem is most people are not even tired at 10. If they got adrenal issues or just stuff going on in their life, They're not sleeping from 10 to 12. They're not even sleeping at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. They're up and down or awake and then back to sleep. And that's going to definitely disrupt not only the defrag process, but also the HGH. Now, HGH is the human growth hormone. Why is that important? That's for all the restoration. That's for all the reset. That's for all the growth. That's for all the rebuilding that's required for your cells on a cellular level, which affect all your organs, blood, and everything. So to get into that pocket of being able to sleep better, and I know you said 7 sessions, I've had people, including myself, who when I first did, when I first had my very first Genius, I literally conked out. I am not a nap taker. And I had someone who was doing this remotely from another state, and they weren't telling me what time they were doing it, or if they did, I didn't really recognize. And I gave them all the information just about the day, and all of a sudden I was just like, whoa, I feel like super tired. And I was like, this is weird. And I had to go sit down. I took early lunch at 11 and sit down and when I did, I contacted the person and I was like, okay, did you just like zap me? Because I just like completely went out. And I am, I had to like call everybody and say, so sorry, I just completely knocked out on my couch and couldn't meet with you, or didn't have, all my consultations and everything. And that is not me at all. There was no alarm setting it or anything, because I didn't even realize I would fall asleep. And so that happened, and I kind of was just like, well, that's just a weird thing or whatever. And then later, 2 weeks later, it happened again at 5 o'clock with them not telling me, and they were doing a new one, same similar thing. Now, I've had other times when I've scanned as, later, maybe that's what my body required at the time to really, really shift. But there's other times that I've scanned, not just myself, but many people, and people come back with testimonies of, oh my God, I cleaned my entire house in 3 hours or 1 hour, or, I just got rid of 23 bags of garbage and, it's sitting out on the road, or I just, went to Goodwill or whatever and brought 13 bags, like, because of the zap. Like you said, some people, sleep, some people have more energy, some people just feel more chill. And I've had those things happen with just 1 scan, let alone 7. So, it is so much more better for sure to get as many as you can, so you can keep to be trained into that new sound to stay. Because what we don't want to do is get there, go back, get there, go back. And I have seen some people who only needed 1 or 2 or 3, and then they were just like, I feel great, so I'll call you if I need anything else. And so I think that's what's so cool, and especially that is that's one of our biggest things, because we had a clinic and it flooded in 2016, and most of my work is teaching anyway, and I had been teaching and on 6 planes a week, going all over the world teaching at conferences, and a lot of that's moved online now. But when you're in a clinical situation, you're seeing people one-on-one, and they have to drive to you, and you're doing everything in person, which is fine. That we can do this just with this and even a phone. I can be somewhere else and scan my daughter. I can go somewhere else and scan my pet. I can be somewhere else traveling or on vacation or wherever and scan someone who needs a sudden emergency situation, and be like, hey, you know what? I happen to have my iPad. I'll scan you now. Or just work remote wherever you are, without having to have to figure out where we're going to meet, or if you can come in, or traveling on a plane, or driving hours and hours. So it's opened up such a broad audience for me to be able to work with so many more people, especially even out of the country. My clients are in Europe and New Zealand and Australia. And, back in the day, I would travel to those places, and I've traveled there many times and seen many people. If I go for a week, I'll teach it and I can see during the day. I don't have to do that anymore. I can have access to anybody and everybody just through WhatsApp or Facebook. So I'm just so thankful that you introduced me to this, Dr. Ariel. And do you have any final words before we wrap up? Because I know there's some people who are interested in this. whether you're getting a scan and or just trying out the Genius for yourself, there's a 14-day trial. I can give you a link for that. But is there anything you'd like to say as we close here?
The Genius is the ultimate tool of self-empowerment. It raises your level of awareness about what's going on internally, your emotions. It gives you remedies, ideas for Bach flower essences and wonderful young living oils, all the essential oils. There are many ways that you can use the Genius. You can even use it for magnetizing abundance with our frequencies. You can use it for clearing your home space. You can use it for global healing. It's very dynamic. You can create your own libraries, which are frequency libraries you can create on your own with your own supplements. And anybody who's watching this that comes in through Sharnael, we have a very special series called Breakthrough to Success, which is a series of frequencies that helps you to understand your limited beliefs and also gives you incredible affirmations to move forward. So anybody who's watching this will give that as a free bonus for anybody who has watched through and connected with Sharnael. We really do appreciate you so very much for all you do to uplift other people with the Genius. So thank you.
Awesome. I love free stuff. Free stuff is good. Thanks for that bonus. You didn't even tell me you were doing that. I love free stuff. Awesome. Okay. Well, I know you're a busy lady and I have 3 more interviews today. So thank you for your time, because just getting both of us together has been an issue over the last few months. I've been really wanting to do this. So thank you for finally being able to us connect and get this done. But you are such a blessing. Love what you're doing and love you guys so much. Please, if you have any questions at all, just you could DM me. I will have the links here and you can check all this out for yourself. And this is the time where we need to, where we don't need to, but if we can and we have the opportunity, which we do, to align with source and to get that frequency. So much going on in the world, so much going on in the news, so much going on. And if we can stay and get sovereign and work through our own things, each individual person that's working on their individual things is going to create a collective shift. And it starts with all of us and taking responsibility and ownership. We are responsible. And it's with every decision, every choice, every thought, every action. Action is really important. It's one thing to know about something, but it's another thing to actually do something about it. And so I do hope that you will jump in and do this for your family, for yourself, for your communities. This is a great opportunity for you to help your block, your city, your churches, your animals, your home. Like she said, there is a whole program just to go through your home and to help your home. So check this out. Love you guys. We'll see you later on with the other interviews we're doing today, and have a great day. Talk to you soon.
Oh, thank you so much.
Bye.
Love. Bye-bye now.
Yeah.